Hey everyone, in this video I will show you how to create an elegant bird animation in After Effects. If you want to purchase the design file, it's available on my Patreon. You can find the download link in the description below. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, the design of the bird is created in a lovely way. All layers of the design have been properly placed, added names in a way that's understandable. Now let's jump into the After Effects and start animating it. So we are inside the After Effects. Now we know how to import the design file. Let's go to the file, import file and select the design file. Make sure that you have selected the retain layer size. Now design file have been loaded into the project panel. Simply double click on the composition to open it in the timeline and the composition panel. Always first lock the background. If you have one, let's lock it. So the design is perfectly displayed here as we specified in the Illustrator. To make things easier, let's modify the label color of the layers to differentiate them. As you can see, it's really helpful to be able to easily identify the layers, right? Second, we are going to set up the anchor points. Let's do it one by one. Let's zoom in on the screen, view it better. Now let's select the mouth layer and make sure that you have selected the anchor point tool and move the point to right here. Just turn it around and see how it works. So the mouth can only move up. It appears to go in the minus direction as you see in the rotation value. So let's modify the value to 0. Let's move the anchor point for the lower mouth and rotate it. It's great. Zoom out and see. Now let's change it for the wings layer. Select the right wings and place the anchor point here. Similarly, select the left wings. You can also enable the solo layer. Now pick and move the anchor point to right here. Now disable the solo icon. We fixed it for mouth and wings. At the bottom of the body, feathers layers are present. Let's hide the body layer to view each feathers. Let's select each feather layer and move its anchor point one by one. Okay, done. So finally here you go. That's it. Unhide the body layer and then only the body layer remains to fix the anchor point. The body anchor point should be around the neck area. As you can see, now the head section is not rotating as compared to the body. Done. So make sure that you have selected the selection tool. We now place the anchor points for all. Select to fit the screen. Now we are going to do the parenting. First we have changed the label color for the each layers. Then we position the anchor points. Now we are going to do the parent and linking the layers. Select all feather layers and parent and link to the body layer. Simply select the body layer and move it. Feathers are related. So now eye must be connected to the body. Select the eye layer and link to the body layer. Again move the body and see, it's perfect. Now select the both wings and parent and link to the body layer. Again move the body layer, it's perfect. Finally select the mouth layers and parent them to the body layer. So we could have selected all layers and parented to the body. However, doing it one by one and checking each step is the ideal way to approach. Now we are going to start working on the animation. First let's select the body layer. Now the bird is going to halt and fly. Though we are going to move the body position up and down a little. Now select the layers and press P for the position properties. So create a keyframe at the first frame. So the body has to be little higher, so adjusting it up. So it's going to be the fast because birds fly quicker, right? Minimum main wings fly thrice or more in a single second. So the timeline has to be zoomed in to see just a couple of seconds. We would be able to see the frames. Let's go to the following 10th frames and move down the position a bit. Continue to the next 10th frame, copy the first keyframe and paste it here. Now it's moving like as we did. Let's select the keyframes. Press F9 to smooth it, or just right click and go to keyframe assistant and click on easy ease. It's moving the same way we did here. But if I want to animate this till the 5 seconds or more, what do? Simply copy and paste the keyframes to continue these animations. To simplify things, we can add a short scripts instead of repeating the keyframes. So once we apply the scripts, it will play how long your timeline is. Now expand the timeline to see the keyframes. Let's apply the script. Let's hold Alt and click right here. Just delete the default text presented and type loop out, or it appears as you type. Simply double click on that. Let us play and see how it's coming out. Here what we did with 20 frames, we have moved it as it comes back to form a loop. So after you given the script, it will continue as a flawless loop. Now I would like to turn the body a little. Select the layer, press R for the rotation properties. Let's press U to see all the keyframes. Now start and end rotation should be in the same place, so create a keyframes here. So when the body drops down, it should turn a little. Just raise 3 in the rotation value, select keyframes and press F9. Now it rotates but not after the keyframes. So we have not given loop out here, therefore it does not continue. Let's apply the script. Let's hold Alt and click right here and write loop out, open and close bracket. Simply press U on the keyboard to view the keyframes. We just did body animation right here. Now we are going to start animating feathers. Select all the feather layers, press R. Let's adjust the timeline panel a bit up to show the layers. Let's create a keyframe in the first frame. As you can see, the first frame rotation values are 0. When the body comes down, the feathers must move in the opposite directions. So now the body is in the top position, right? Let's rotate the feathers to the down or inside. Just change the value to -16. Now let's proceed to the 10th frame and change the value to opposite. So there is no need to try for +16 value, just +7 rotation value is fine. Now go to the 20th frame and directly type the -16 value for the rotations. Or you can copy the first keyframes and paste them here. Now observe the movement of the feathers. Select all keyframes, press F9 to make it smoother. So we need the keyframes to play continuously. For that we will have to apply the script. Let's hold Alt and click the rotation here, then type loop out and open and close bracket. So this time I'm going to copy this loop out script. Simply click on the composition window, minimize all properties. Now hold Alt, click on the rotation here and paste the loop out script. Repeat the same for the further layers. Now play and observe the results. Now body position and rotations are moving, as are the feathers. Here all the feathers moves in the same way. Now we are going to play around with the keyframes. Select all the feather layers and press U. So we know since we added script, it would play continuously. Let's offset the layer by moving inside. Just move 2 frames for each layer. So the keyframes have moved inside as we move the layers. It looks fine, right? Let's zoom in to watch the feathers movement clearly. Now see the animations. It's cool, but there is too much of movement going on. Maybe change it to 1 frame and see. Now the gap is clean and motion is also decent. Let's do one thing. Set 2 frames for the top 2 feathers and see. It is not necessary to use the same frame for each layers. Now I did a 2 frame gap for first 2 layers. Other frames are offset with 1 frame only. Now it appears excellent to see as well. So now we have done the smooth body movement for the bird here. That's all. Let's minimize the layers. Now the important portion is wings, which would convey the sensation of a bird flying. Let's move on to the first frame in the timeline. I'm going to select both wings layer. So wings will bend down, right? For this we will use the scale properties. To display the scale properties, select the layer, press S. When I try to modify the scale value, it entirely goes down, right? But I want to flex the wing. So let's go to the scale properties and disable the lock icon right here. Now if I adjust the y-axis value, it will bend perfectly. So in the first frame, I want wings to be in the same position. Therefore, let's create a keyframe for both. Let's move on to the 10th frame. Now I'm going to modify the scale y-axis value to -100. Now the wings would come down. Let's change the opposite wings as well. Apply value to -100. Now both wings are bending. There you go. As you can see, wings are coming inside the feathers, since the wings layer lies on top of the feather layers, which should not be, right? Let's fix it by moving the left wings layer to the bottom. Now it's clear. Move on to the additional 10th frame and set the scale value to +100. Quickly apply +100 since we gave -100 to bend down. Wings are moving but not perfectly. Let's fix that immediately. Select both layers and press R for the rotation. Let's create a keyframe for the rotation. Select both layers and press U to see all the keyframes. At the first keyframe, wings are okay. Go to the second keyframe and change the rotation value like this. Similarly, move the back wing to the same position. It's been fixed now. Let's see how this is coming out. Wings flies down perfectly. Now again wings going back to the same position. Now come here and let's change the rotation value to 0, or you can copy and paste the first keyframes. Now the only thing needed is looping script. You know what I'm going to do now. Apply loop out script to both the scale and rotation keyframes. Let's play and see what's coming out. It's flying nicely. In general, the body appears to be flying in the same spot, but the wings would move faster, right? We have given 10 frames for moving down, another 10 frames for rising up, right? Zoom into the timeline. Let's make it 5 frames on each side. Now it appears very decent in speed. When anything moves faster, you would notice it as blurred in motion, right? That's exactly we are going to apply here as well. As you can see, the motion blur icon is there. You may click here to enable the blur. Let's minimize the properties first. Select the right wing layer and enable motion blur by clicking here. As you can see, the motion blur has been applied to the right wings. Now let's enable the motion blur on the back wings as well and observe the result. Perfect, the bird is flying smoothly as we animated. So make sure that you clicked here to enable the motion blur. If it is not selected, then you will not get motion blur in your video output. So just careful with this, okay? Let's start working on the eye and mouth animation. It would be good to see the animated version of this, right? Select the eye layer and press S to open the scale properties. Go right here and add a keyframe. Then move to the following 2 frames. Unchain the icon right here and lower the y-axis. Zoom in and adjust the value. Now let's give 2 frames and create a keyframe and change the value. Here I didn't give loop out script. If I do, it will blink faster and always, right? However, we can apply loop out script here as well using simple techniques. There are 3 keyframes here. Let's apply loop out script to this and observe the result. It's blinking too rapidly, right? Because it takes only the keyframe duration. I'm going to create a dummy keyframes at the first frame. Now there is a gap in the keyframes, right? Now let's play and see the results. Now blinking speed has reduced compared to previously. Now select these keyframes, drag to place them where 1 second ends. Now press U to see only keyframes and let's change the timeline. Now play and observe the result. For every second eye blinking is happening. You can still change the timing by adding some more keyframes. This can be smoother, so let's adjust the keyframes and press F9 to see. This is good. Let's make the eye blinking every 1.5 seconds. This looks decent with not too much of blinking. It would be lovely to have mouth that makes sounds, right? Select both mouth layers, press R for the rotation properties, create a keyframe here. Go to half a second, change the rotation value to open its mouth. Again give a half second, rotate back to normal position, like a closed mouth. Just like a bird making double time sound, make a sound again, but this time open the mouth slightly. It's like a bird makes a high sound followed by a low. For the final keyframes, select both layers and set the value to 0. Select all keyframes and press F9. Let's play the animation and see the outcome. Let's move the keyframes to mouth animation comes after 2 seconds. As you can see, the mouth moves slowly. Let's speed it up. Adjust the keyframe to closer to speed up the animation. If you add sound effects, it will be more lively, right? Let's add a loop out script for this as well. Now the mouth has to animate for every 2.5 seconds. Keyframes are already there. Simply make a dummy keyframe at the first frame. Now I am going to create a loop out script. Add loop out script here as well. Select the layer and press U to hide the keyframes. Adjust the composition window. Let's play and see the animation. This is really great. We have animated a bird really well and fast. Imagine this bird is coming from the left, staying in the center for a while, then flying away to the right. Let's animate how this occurs. In this case, the body acts as a controller for movement. However, we have already used body position for the animations, so we can't use the body position to animate. But we can add a new transform layer for body as a controller. Simply right click on the composition window and go to new and click on null object. A null layer is created. The null layer will appear in the center, but it is an empty layer. As you can see, null layer has transform properties. All properties will work, but it's an empty layer. I'm going to place the null layer around the neck just like we did it for the body layer. Minimize the null properties. Now select the body layer and parent to null layer. I'm going to rename it as a controller. So the null layer now becomes the controller. Now select the null layer, move it somewhere here, then play from the timeline and see. It will work as controller. Now let's select the controller layer and move it outside the composition window. Your bird is going to fly from outside, though the position is ideal. So let's select the position properties and create a keyframe. For now, let's go to the few frames and create a keyframe. We can always modify the keyframes later. Bird comes from there to here and stays beautifully. Let it stay here for 2 seconds, then go to the timeline and move to here. Setting keyframes after 2 seconds. Let's set 3 seconds to stay. After that, the bird will fly away with the time of 2 seconds. Simply select the controller layer and move it here. So we have created a basic keyframes for this. So let's play and inspect the animation. It comes from there nicely and stays here for 3 seconds before going away. When the bird comes, it appears slow, right? Let's move the keyframes to 1 second to make it faster. We can always move the keyframes to check out the animations. So I gave 1 second for the bird to come and fly away. Let's play and see how it's coming out. Great. Now we can give the easy ease to make it smoother, right? Let's change the ratio to fit. Select all of the position keyframes and press F9 to easy ease. Quickly, if you notice, the bird is flying straight like a linear, right? But bird must turn like a curve and come here to stay. To do that, we have already learned from earlier lessons and it's nothing. Simply select all the keyframes, go to pen tool, just long press here, you will find convert vertex tool, just select that. Now click here at the point that you see. As you can see, there are 4 handle points created. Select each handle to convert it to curved graph path. Now have a look at the animation. It's coming like this. Let's experiment with the graph handle and see. Let's change the ratio to fit screen. Animation is happening until here, right? Let's end the work area to press N on the keyboard. Once the preview playback ends, you will see the actual time of the animation. It's coming out wonderfully, right? But when it arrives, it's straight, right? It must be head down and tails up like that. Let's also fix that immediately. Select the layer, press R to open the rotation property. Bird arrives here to remain, therefore let us go there and make a keyframe first. Simply zoom out from the composition window. Let's move on to the first frame, rotate the value to make the heads down. Look at here, head is down while coming. Head can be even lower, comes with the head gazing down and finally body returns to its usual position. Let's fit the screen and see the animation. As you can see, head is down and coming up. Let's rotate the value more. Then create a keyframe from where it will start moving away. While it proceeds, the body must be rotated like this. I just did here for now. Now drag this key and move it to the last here. As you can see, bird rotates as it moves up. Let's play and watch it from the beginning. Perfect. Let's apply F9 to make the rotation smoother. That's it. So we have learned how to animate birds elegantly. You can use the same techniques to animate various bird species. I hope you enjoyed learning this bird animation tutorial. That's it. I will see you in the next video.